Welcome to Say Anything with Allison. I'm Allison. I am one of three of the members of Cinemadness podcast, and I thought maybe I would give it a shot as far as doing my own videos. Not necessarily always movie reviews. I might talk about lists. I might talk about a show. I might talk about just one particular subject. Who knows? That's why I like to call it Say Anything, because I like to talk and who knows what I'll be saying. So for today, the first video that I want to do for you guys, I basically want to give some love to one of my favorite actresses. I want to go over what I think are her top 5 best performances. Not necessarily movies, but just, her best performances. Talk about why I love her so much and why we don't see that much of her anymore, because she's not, she's popular, but she's not one of those A-listers that you see constantly. So I wanted to dive into that and try and, figure out why. I did some research because you don't see her that much anymore. And it's kind of a bummer. So, that being said, one of my favorite actresses, I have fallen in love with her since I saw her in her first movie. I just think she is beautiful and talented, and that is Christina Ricci. I am a huge fan of hers. I've been following her. I tried to see, probably in my early 20s, I would go to, I don't know how old people are that watch these videos, especially since this is the first one. But so I know everybody's probably heard of Blockbuster. Well, Blockbuster had this thing where you bought this card. It was like, I don't know, $10 a month. And you could get one movie a day. I think it was one movie a day. So that was a pretty good deal in the 90s, late 90s. So my goal was to go and try to rent as many Christina Ricci movies as I could find, like the ones that I'd never heard of, just so I could say I've seen everything she's been in. And I'd say up until probably the last 5 years, I feel like I've seen everything she's in. Some of them weren't very memorable, but I just wanted to say, like, I've seen all of her movies. I even made a background on my computer when I was like 17 of like a Christina Ricci collage. I would just take pictures of her, magazine covers of her, and I would save them as my background, like my desktop on my computer. Oh, man, that's embarrassing, but I don't know. I vibed with her. She had dark hair like I did. She was pale like I was. We were the same age. She was born in 1980. I don't know. I just felt like she was the cool girl. She was that anti-blonde bimbo, or even just blonde popular cheerleader girl. And I wanted to be her so badly. I wanted to be friends with her. I said, if I could be any actress, it could be her. It would be her. She was just, I don't know. I just was infatuated with her. I also thought it was really cool when she started doing movies with Johnny Depp. I was like, man, this is so cool. Like working with Johnny Depp, because I've been obsessed with Johnny Depp as long as I can remember. And I was like, man, obviously they weren't romantic. They could have been, I guess. He's a lot older than her, but I think I've read multiple times that she viewed him as just, like a father figure in the world of acting. And I'm sure he taught her a lot. So, but I don't know. I just thought that was so cool that, she was in Sleepy Hollow with him and a couple other movies, because he was just everything. But I just think she's a really good actress. She holds her own with some of the biggest actors in Hollywood. She's been in movies with so many A-listers. And she just holds her own. And it's like she's been working since she was born. And she pretty much has been. She's been working since she was about 8 in the business. So I'm going to go ahead and go over what I think are her best performances, her top 5. Because, I have to throw a list in there. I love doing lists. I love doing lists that we do on the podcast on our website, cinemadnesspodcast.com. I enjoy doing lists. It's just, they make me happy. So I'm going to do a top 5 list. Now, again, this doesn't mean that these are my top 5 favorite films of Christina's, but they are the top 5 performances that I just feel are memorable. And they just stood out. Like if you were to ask me what 5 movies should I watch to get to know Christina and see what a good actress she is, I would give you these 5 films. So here we go. Number 5 is The Opposite of Sex. This was one of the movies that I got with my Blockbuster thing because I had never heard of it. I don't even know if it came to the theater. I don't think my mom would have let me go see a movie called The Opposite of Sex if I was, like 13. But so she plays Dee Dee. Dee Dee is a 16 or 17-year-old, hot, smart, kind of sex pot. She gets pregnant. I think they're in Louisiana. She gets pregnant. And she goes to visit her brother. Now, her brother's gay, and his boyfriend has recently passed away, and now he has a new boyfriend. And Dee Dee just kind of waltzes in and basically tries to convince the new boyfriend that he's not gay, and he's been waiting for Dee Dee to arrive. Like, okay, so you're with my brother, but you're really not gay. You thought you were gay until you met me. And Christina has always looked in the early roles, even though she's really small and tiny, she was very busty, or at least she was in this movie. And she just looked older than she was. So she didn't look 16 in this movie at all. She was very seductive. So what I think also is good about this movie is she narrates the whole thing, her character Dee Dee, and I don't know, it was kind of cool. It was like she was commentating on everything that the characters, including herself, did, and it was just a really good, almost like breakout role for her after the kitty roles that she did before. Not kitty cat, but like, child roles. Also, a side note on this movie, Lisa Kudrow is in this. She plays Dee Dee's brother's deceased boyfriend sister. Wow, that's a mouthful. So she's the sister of the guy who died. And she's trying to basically say, Dee Dee's bad news. But Lisa Kudrow was phenomenal in that movie. That's another person that doesn't get enough credit that she deserves. So number 5, Opposite of Sex. Number 4 is probably one of her most well-known roles, is The Addams Family. Basically, Christina is Wednesday Addams, hands down. Nobody else can play Wednesday the way she did. I'm sure there are a lot of people who can play it brilliantly. And I know that they have the cartoons that have come out recently that are really good, by the way. And I think if they, kept redoing these movies throughout the years, I'm sure a lot of people could portray Wednesday, but in my mind, nobody can play her as brilliantly as Christina. She had that paleness. They probably didn't even have to put any more pale makeup on her. She had that cold stare down pat. The way she spoke, she was just so cold and stoic and just, dry. She made Wednesday fun to watch in both The Addams Family and Addams Family Values. But Addams Family being the first time you saw her in this role, it was just so fun to watch. I just don't think anybody's going to be able to match that. Her chemistry, even with Raul Julia and Angelica Houston, Christopher Lloyd, and the little boy who played Pugsley. It's just so good. I haven't watched this film in a while, so I probably will show my son because he really likes the cartoons, but he hasn't seen the live action. So I'll probably watch it and be just as delighted as years ago when I watched it. So number 4 is The Addams Family, or Addams Family Values. You can put both of them together. Number 3 is a very strange movie. It is Black Snake Moan. Ricci played a girl named Ray. She was dating Justin Timberlake. I think this was one of his first films. And she was kind of beaten and left on the side of the road. She was kind of promiscuous and slutty. I don't know, promiscuous is kind of like a theme with Ricci in some of these roles. She was just beaten, battered. Samuel L. Jackson finds her and he takes her in and he basically tries to unslutify her. It's a good word, unslutify. Her performance in this movie is so, I don't really want to say disturbing. This is not a movie that you watch over and over again. I was just like, what did I watch? This is just a very gritty movie, but her performance was so raw in this film. He has her chained up. I don't know if he's like trying to exorcise her demons out of her, but she's just writhing around. There's a lot of kind of like banjo music, gospel-y music. And it's hard for me to remember because it's been so long. This might have been one of my Blockbuster movies too, but I do remember her just being such a standout part of that film. Her and Samuel L. Jackson, but he's usually always standout. It's not an easy film to watch, but she just shows so much emotion in this film, and he tries to basically save her. And she puts up a fight, but she also tries to like, I don't really want to say like sleep with him to get out of it, but she tries to use her sex to get free. But yeah, it's not a great movie. It's not a favorite movie. It's just her performance alone is just a reason why she is just such a great actress in my mind. So that's number 3. Number 2 was a great film. Another one that you're not going to want to watch over and over again, I don't think. And that was Monster. So in Monster, we all know that Charlize Theron was the star of that role. She won an Academy Award for playing Eileen Wuornos, the Florida serial killer who went around killing men. She was a prostitute. But Christina Ricci played Selby, which was her girlfriend. And I remember seeing this movie, and after I got over the fact of how crazy Charlize Theron looked, I focused on Christina, and Christina she had a broken arm and she had like a mullet type thing going on. She was just so innocent in this role. And I mean, I'm assuming that's how Selby was in real life. She got entangled in Eileen Wuornos's web of prostitution and murder and scandal and everything. And then she ended up testifying against her. She definitely loved her, and it kind of broke Selby towards the end of it. But hands down, that is probably Christina Ricci's best performance. And I believe she should have been nominated for supporting actress. I think that if anybody else had played the role of Eileen other than Charlize Theron, people would have recognized Christina Ricci more and given her more credit, but she was overshadowed by a monster of a role. See what I did there? Monster of a role. I mean, Charlize Theron just blew it out of the water, and I think it just overshadowed anybody else in that movie.
My incredible, incredible leading lady, Christina Ricci, who I couldn't have done this film without. You are truly the unsung hero of this film.
So if you haven't watched that, or if you watched it once and you were focused completely on Theron, watch it again and watch Christina Ricci and see how well she does. That brings us to number 1. Now, number 1 is Christina's first movie, and I want to say she was like 8. This movie is Mermaids, and I loved this movie as a kid. I watched it all the time, and I still love it to this day. This movie holds up without a doubt. It's one of my favorite movies. Ricci played Cher's youngest daughter and Winona Ryder's younger sister, Kate. Bob Hoskins was also in this movie, and Michael Schaffling, who I don't think we've seen anything of after this movie. I think he retired from acting, but he is best known as playing Mr. Jake Ryan in a certain small movie called 16 Candles. So Kate, Christina Ricci's character, is this young little badass girl who loves all things water, all things swimming, hence the title Mermaids. She has this eccentric mom played by Cher. And then Winona Ryder, who, by the way, I mean, I was going to say she's brilliant, but everybody is brilliant in this movie. But Winona Ryder is fantastic in this film. And she plays Charlotte, who is, she wants to be a nun. She thinks she's pregnant, even though she's never had sex before. She's very protective of Kate, her little sister. They're very close. And the mom, Cher, just keeps on moving them around because the second she falls in love with anybody, she just doesn't want to have, like, I guess, a normal life. She gets scared of that and she just runs away. So it's a very weird mother-daughter movie, but it's just so good. Such good acting in this film. Christina is just so precocious and she's just lovable. She's so cute. She's got this little like bob haircut and she loves to swim, and they love eating hors d'oeuvres. That's what the mom makes them for dinner. She makes like little marshmallow kebabs, and I love eating hors d'oeuvres. So I think I just, that was one reason I fell in love with that movie. But that's my number one pick. The chemistry between her and Cher and Winona Ryder is undeniable. And I almost wish they would make like a sequel or something. I don't know how that would work, but it's just so good. So good. I could do a whole video just on Mermaids. Maybe I will. So those are my top 5 performances of hers. Other movies that she's been really great in, obviously Sleepy Hollow. She was really good in that. Even if you don't like the Tim Burton-esque of that movie, I do. I thought it was great, but she was really good in that movie. Now and Then is another great role. She and Gabby Hoffman and Thora Birch, and then the other girl, I don't remember, they play younger versions in the 1950s of Four Best Friends, played by Melanie Griffith, Rita Wilson, what is her name? Rosie O'Donnell, and Demi Moore. And they all get back together because one of them is about to have a baby, and it just keeps going back and forth in the 50s and the 90s, and it's just adorable. And she was really good in that too. And Penelope is another one of my favorites. She has a pig nose. It's a really good movie. So Christina, and 200 Cigarettes too. That was good. Christina seems to have always chosen roles that were not the norm, that would try to make her stand out, that would push her limits. And I don't know, maybe that was her choice. Maybe that was her manager's choice. Maybe that was just something that she had to get based on how she looked. I don't know. But, I started to think when I was looking up these roles for this video, and I started to think, why don't we see that much of her anymore? Why has she never been nominated for an Academy Award? I think she's won like a Golden Globe, but why are we not seeing more of this brilliant girl? A couple of years ago, she was in a TV show, the Lizzie Borden series, which I never watched, and I probably should try to find it because she played Lizzie Borden and I heard she was good. She was in a show called I think it was like Z, The Lost World of Z, and it was short-lived. I remember about 10 years ago, she was in a short-lived series called Pan Am, where she played a Pan Am air pilot, and I loved it. But again, it got canceled, as my shows do. So, why don't we see her in roles anymore? Where is she? Well, I found out that some of the speculation as far as why she doesn't get cast that much in Hollywood anymore is possibly because of her height. She's like 5'1". So, that's kind of crappy. You're not going to hire somebody because they're short. They're not tall. That's where her and I differ. But yeah, so she's short stature. She's thin. So she gets typecast and she has to play these smaller roles because she literally can't stand out in Hollywood. I think that's a bunch of malarkey, but that was one of the reasons that they said she doesn't get cast much anymore. Another theory is, did she take too many gritty roles early on in her career? The opposite of Sex, as I mentioned, 200 Cigarettes, the Ice Storm with Kevin Kline. She did all of these gritty roles that sometimes had to do with sex and drugs and an abused character. She didn't play the Reese Witherspoon, Legally Blonde, or a Sandra Bullock Miss Congeniality role. So did that hurt her in the long run? When normally you think the people who play the gritty roles are the ones who are going to get nominated for roles because they push the boundaries. But did it hurt her? Did we typecast her as Wednesday Addams? Every time you see this girl, you're going to see her in the pigtails, and that's just Wednesday, and she can't break out of that role. Who knows? I mean, she's a child actor that had success past her child acting days. So she's already gone past that and fought out of that typecast. So, I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that. She also struggled with eating disorders later on in life. She had anorexia and bulimia. She was very self-conscious of her body. She got very skinny. If you see her now, sometimes she looks a little bit like skinny up here, and she's a very petite girl. Another way we differ now. Now that I've gotten older, we're not alike. She stopped and she stopped acting for a while and had a family. She had a baby. She's pregnant again right now with her second child at 41. I think that's pretty awesome. And I'm sure she'll have a gorgeous little baby, just like the other baby was. Most importantly, though, I think that she got screwed in the movie Monster. That was her breakout role, and her breakout role was overshadowed by Charlize. I don't think she is upset about that. I don't think she should have any hard feelings against Charlize, but I don't know. And looking back now, okay, so you take what was a movie a couple of years ago, Dallas Buyers Club. You take Dallas Buyers Club with Matthew McConaughey and the brilliant Jared Leto. Probably do a video on him too, because he's my favorite. You have two of them. Both of them knocked their roles out of the park in that film. Both of them were nominated, and I believe both of them won. So you can't say nowadays that if you have two people in a movie and they both are phenomenal, that they both can't be nominated, one for supporting and one from, actor or actress. So why didn't she get nominated that year? I should look up and see who was nominated for Best Actress and see and compare the two. I think she was robbed. I really do. But, I guess it happened. So those are the theories that I saw on the internet on why, we don't see that much of her anymore. But I want more Christina. I want her to come back. Even if it's just on the small screen. We need more of her. She's such a good actress. She can play almost any role. And I think that the cinematic world would be better off having more of her. So that was me gushing over Christina Ricci and my top 5 performances of hers. Do you have a favorite performance of hers? Do you not like her? Why? Or do you like her? Tell me in the comments. And if you want to hear more of my opinions, my lists, my love or hate for something, or just my overall confusion on certain things, who knows what I'll talk about, hit the subscribe button below. We have a lot of videos within our Cinemadness podcast family. Adam does a lot of retro rewatches where he goes over movies that he loved as a kid and sees if he still has that same love. And I've been fortunate enough to join him on a couple of those, and it's fun and we enjoy doing it. The three of us are getting back together soon to start season 3 of our podcast, which is available on Spotify, iTunes, and wherever else you can hear your podcasts. We have our YouTube channel as well. Please click on subscribe so we can see that you guys are kind of digging our videos. Go to our Facebook page, follow us, like us. We're on Twitter at Cinemadness P. We have Instagram as well. I'll include all the things at the bottom. All the things will be at the bottom. But I look forward to doing more videos, and hopefully you'll look forward to hearing me say anything. So I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.